This afternoon, with recent reports of dangerous levels of toxin in soil and food crops due to illegal mining, Agri Minister says government is taking measures to mitigate the impact.
Also, the Czar, Imani and oversight groups demand forensic audit of gold for oil amid concerns over revenue leakages.
A lot later, as millions of Ghanaians struggle to find a place to lay their heads, calls are intensifying for innovative solutions to meet the country's growing housing demands.
It's a brand new week of News Central. I'm Kemini Amanor.
And I am Mawuena Egbeta. The bulletin starts right now.
Now, Food and Agriculture Minister Eric Opoku is seriously concerned about the dangerous levels of toxins found in the country's soil and food crops. Alarming levels of mercury, lead, arsenic and other toxins were found in test samples taken from food-growing areas, yet, galamsey-prone areas. The minister told me on hot issues that there are efforts to mitigate the impact.
If these toxic materials find their ways into the food that is produced, we are doing something that is inimical to the health of our population.
When you find the toxins in the soil, say you go to a place like Konongo where we are told that there are very, very high mercury in the soil, you find it there, then what next? What are you able to do for the farmers?
In fact, when you find it, it means that that soil must be treated.
Okay.
You have to reduce that thing in there. It is something that is polluting the soil.
Yeah.
So you get it out. You treat the soil.
But it will be challenging for you if we continue to mine with these.
It is. As for the illegal mining, it is not a matter of being a challenge to me as a minister or to me as a citizen of this country. It is a challenge to all of us as citizens of our country, because we are polluting the environment. We are destroying the land. We are destroying our water bodies. So what future are we bequeathing to the upcoming generation? Yes, we are blessed with the gold, but we have to use proper means to harvest so that we don't destroy the entire environment.
If it is as dire as we have just, enumerated, is that not the reason, why your government should immediately declare a state of emergency in these areas, these hotspots?
In fact, personally speaking, from my personal point of view, when you declare a state of emergency, you announce that I have declared a state of emergency. What next? Will that solve the problem immediately?
What do you think?
That is just a statement. It must be followed with an action. A clear action, a clear, powerful way directed at arresting the situation. And that is what we are doing. So the last time the president engaged the media, he was very articulate, very frank on this matter, that efforts are underway. We have not exhausted our efforts, our opportunities to deal with the challenge. So let's confront the challenge, hold on, deal with the challenge. And then when at some stage we realize that we have done our best, but we are unable to contain it, then we go to that extent.
Let's have a quick chat on the back of that development. George Queenan is my colleague who's joined us from the Tema Community 1 market. George has been gauging from these traders and customers also about how they feel, their perspective on the toxins that have been discovered in our soils and food crops. George, we know you've been interacting with some of these traders and customers or buyers in the market. Talk to us about what you have picked up so far.
A very good afternoon. I'm coming to you live from Faseja, so here at Tema Community 1. And we're actually here to assess the health of some of these farm produce. And this very, plantain is coming all the way from Gorso. And I'm told that it's also a place where illegal mining takes place. And so people or consumers that come to these markets are quite apprehensive because they can't really tell what exactly they're going to take because they don't have testers to test whether these, foodstuffs are healthy or not. But let me also engage these traders, how they feel about this very revelation by the Pure Environment and EPA about the toxins that are found in this food produce. I'm trying to say good afternoon. Good afternoon. You're TV3 live. The entire about this paper say you moon kasa. Once it's a galam say high in your money. Johnny cry there. Yet one to affection. And it's a lot of they say no. What's this we say? What you find it?
As I say, crown. Body and crown, the dear body on the galam say na said so no. Lipid no do.
Yeah, make it.
A sign so na mane said yana. And your poor much on mamma only didn't found. That's how come the baby and I'm so glad it's a crack.
They're serious.
It's serious. Kaka have to pass me. Kaka say, you saw the amount that be like out to put the answer. She said, you saw no problem. That's in one, so the Yemenipa, the Yemenipa, the Bia.
My sister, they be away say, I call the bad marketer, it be a debate 1 month, I will have to say a front them. And then so,
I don't know.
Say they're channel, I feel they're about home and tribune, sir.
Oh, and sister.
And sister.
And sister. And sister. And sister, now, a baha. She said, what channel with your baha? A bit with your drug.
Okay.
Let him have brain.
Okay, my child. It's sister, I'm saying, you can't family.
I almost thought Mamma was talking to my serious.
Okay, Kemini, so she's a trader here. She's concerned about the revelations, of course. And so there's this fear that even water, there'll be water shortage. Clearly, it's all about food security. And so the agency to tackle the illegal mining menace is quite of great concern to her. But let's just take you through the market and engage more of these traders. Mommy, good afternoon. You are live on TV3. I'm saying, who is saying?
I'm saying, they go for me there. Now go for me, man. You go to Naman to get no position as Calamity order.
Oh, Mama, to Galamse. Mommy, they be here. I didn't say I hear about mouth. Oh, I hear no biddy. Mommy, so when you who is guy then? It is Galamse, and I can be a sage and in Sabia, start doing out when them say he's kind of what you let dream about the whole first. Oh,
and the angel to
it's not the same guy.
So, Mamma,
I say enjoy too. These are not, healthy commentaries from this money. It's all because of money. But some. Okay, so mommy, I can't galamse one thing. It's auto body. It's Siciana galamse as say your money. You are the best way to be done.
And send them a day. What would you say? What be a super puppet? When you mind yet. So lucky. Galamse ma fatana for the good Ghana. How much you galamse now? Then na yenya kasa ti memu for you to galamse among play.
Mommy, I tell you, you can't know. Mommy.
Galamse,
mommy, it's not good. Mommy, Mama wants someone. Mommy, Mama wants to do. Mommy, Mama wants someone. Maybe they were galamse here for me. So, what you say?
Mepacho. Except what I said to galamse.
Baby,
I didn't say no.
And super power.
I didn't say no.
Send to Ghana what I mean.
Ghana what I am.
Ghana what
I am. Let's say, question to galamse. Yes, for such a what I am, and yes.
Mommy, you say, you and Pastor Susan. You are all you so then you are laughing. I don't start one. Mommy, no. It's not one. Mommy. Yeah, you are like Mr. One. Sister one in the room. Mommy. So these are not healthy comments. I don't understand what she's saying, but I can clearly tell that galamse is of great concern. It should be tackled as soon as possible, Kemini.
Well, George, have you been able to determine from these women where their produce come from, whether or not they know about this report that states that there are toxins in the food crops that are coming from these areas?
Okay, so Kemini, so this plantain here is coming all the way from Gorso in Apple, and I'm told that, illegal mining activities take place there. So clearly, I cannot really tell whether it has toxins in here, but it's a place where illegal mining takes place. So let's give it some sort of probability. Some can find itself here in the market, but most of the consumers that I spoke to are clearly also concerned. They cannot really come with tests to test whether these are healthy products, but they can only be concerned. They will pray that they also told that Ghana gems do not come like foreign gems. So they all can only be concerned. They can't do much. They don't have test tests. And so this is, let's say, a mess back of the feelings from traders and consumers if it comes to timber market.
Very well, George. We'll leave it here. George Quinn joined us from the Tema Community 1 market. I want to take that conversation now over to the Ghana Agric Chamber of Commerce president, who is Philip Abayori. Philip, good afternoon to you. It's good to see you after so many years. But Philip, listen, you just heard from the women, right? They say that, out of 3 people we spoke to, 2 of them say that people should go on with the galamsey because they can't find jobs to do, very oblivious of the impact of the mercury and the arsenic and the lead on our food crops. How does that come to you?
Yeah, this galamsey issue has been a national issue which has been discussed for many, many years. And we think that there should be a holistic approach to this galamsey issue because it's being done in communities far away from the cities, but the impact of it is across board. And we think that we should look at how to regulate this trade properly because policing it is not going to be easy. It's so wide an area in the country, remote, and its operators are very, very skillful in the terrain than all of us. But there is a window of opportunity that we can use regulation. First of all, we will advise that we should register all the galamseyers and issue cards to them. We register them. You are a galamseyer. We register you. You do a 2-week training. We have the Stakwa School of Mines. They are doing this just haphazardly. They don't know what they are doing. They are able to capture gold using chemicals here and there. Once we finish registering them, then they do a 2-week course. Government will designate an area or the district that this 2 kilometer square land or 1 kilometer is where you can dig for gold. Now, we get expertise to provide processing plants, a processing plant, a water system, people who know how to manage and clean this gold with the chemicals, and they can store the water and they can recycle this water so that it doesn't leach into the main rivers. So now we know, we have a Herculean tax, but we have to.
I see. And that's a different angle you're introducing into the conversation around the fight against galamsey, right?
Yes,
but the general call has been that let's declare a state of emergency in these galamsey corners. I see. Why do you think so? Why do you think that your suggestion will work better?
Let me tell you. You know the wide as the country is. You declare a state of emergency, then they will go and shoot people and kill so that the government will get a bad name, and then there will be chaos in the country. Assuming your brother was there and he shot, but just a passerby, and they say it's a galamsey. You don't know the people you are fighting against, and we are saying go and register them. Get to identify that these are the people. Those who refuse to register are now illegal. Then we use those who have registered to police those who don't want to register, because we have created an opportunity. You can't go and mine. The excavators that are going around, we can say that we don't want any excavator. Since we have registered you, the excavators down now will be used to be owned by Gold Board. So if you want an excavator to go and do a place, there are trackers in the excavator. They'll give you the excavator. They'll give you an operator. You go and work at wherever you are supposed to work. At the end of the day, after mining, reclamation will be done. Another new site is given to these people. We need to be responsible because we want to benefit from the gold. We also want to preserve the environment. And let me tell you, you are sleeping in the night, people are waking up. You understand? The worst is that in somebody's room, they will dig a 2 kilometer, you don't know mine, they will dig a 2 kilometer hole in somebody's room and then appear somewhere and be doing galamsey.
So then they will work through tunnels. But let's look at, the impact we're seeing so far. We've seen that report that says that they're finding high levels of dangerous chemicals in our soils and in our food crops. And we know that, when I had that conversation with the Agric Minister for hot issues, he tells me that we're going to start testing the soil, see how widespread this is, and find solutions to that. How does that come to you?
You see, some of these chemicals will not go easily from the ground. So the first thing is that we must prohibit those chemicals from getting to the communities. Who are those selling those chemicals? How did the chemicals get to the place? You cannot be tackling the dog and leave the owner. So we need to ensure that, that's why I'm saying that if we do things responsibly, by having people who have capacity to process, to put processing plants there, responsible to be able to process gold, when you have your raw material, you go there and process, they will make sure the environment is clean and you are paid for the gold. You understand? But now, if the chemicals will continue to go to the community, access to processing becomes easy in the main rivers that they will send the chemicals to go and process them. We should stop selling the chemicals and then get companies who have expertise to put up gold plants in areas that people can process the gold responsibly without leaching the water into the water bodies. You understand? Secondly, is the excavators and these fountains that they are using. That's what I'm saying. If you don't identify the people you are working with, you can never arrest anybody. Let us give people up.
Well, Philip, just before we let you go, let's talk about its impact on trade. Sometimes we add value to some of these food crops and export them. From where you sit as the chamber, what is the likely impact you're seeing on the ability for our food produce, our value-added produce from Ghana reaching external markets?
Yeah, it's not the whole of Ghana that we have this area. There are safe areas where, let me tell you, all this export that you are doing, they'll test the exports. So if you go and bring in produce that comes from a contaminated area, you will pay for it to be destroyed in the country that you have shipped the items to. It's counterproductive. But let's look at our own people as Ghanaians, the kind of new sicknesses that we are getting into our bodies. You sit here in Accra, you eat, you go and buy some vegetables, go and buy some food and eat, and then you get sick. So we should be concerned of ourselves. The impact of it is so enormous because definitely it has introduced a lot of illness which are not easily healable. But we need to quickly take steps to address what can mitigate all this. And what can mitigate all this is that the number of people who are into this, we need to know them. We need to be able to identify them one by one and know when and where they are and what they are doing. That is where the beginning of it. And that is easy to do. You can do census.
Because I was going to ask you how easy a task you think that will be, identifying all these illegal miners.
They are not afraid. You see, these are people they are in the community and they are struggling to get jobs and they are there. If you refuse to come and register in the district assembly, we are giving you a 30 days grace that you must come and register yourself personally, not your mining license, but we want to know how many people are doing that in a year. And we happen to get, you are 10,000, and we get 2,000 registered. The rest of you, the 8,000 are illegal. Because anytime, you can't go and sell gold to anybody. You can't hold gold in your hands. You understand? So that's where the regulation starts. Where are you getting this to sell when you don't have a license? You must have a license to be able to go and dig that thing. We must train you for 2 weeks. You understand?
Very well.
It becomes a starting point for us to identify the people, the faceless people who are doing it. You understand? Now will be known. So they will also be afraid that when they break the law, it's easy for you to arrest them. You understand what I'm trying to say? So that
Indeed.
is it. The next thing we need to do too is that, you see, we shouldn't think that government is not strong. How can citizens, individual citizens be stronger than their government? So the government need to employ technology. They need to be able to get remote censoring, even satellite mappings. We can sit in the office here with expertise, link up with satellite and be able to know what is on the ground. You understand? Both the European satellite, the ISS satellites, we should be able to, and you can go 100 feet under the ground. We should use drones just to be able to, because if you put the police and army on the ground, they will not, some of the areas are inaccessible. We need to be able to see everything, both day and night.
Very well.
Using 9 sensors.
Very well.
But when we know where you are,
Philip, that's all we have time for. I appreciate your insights on the subject matter. Philip Abayori is president of the Ghana Agric Chamber of Commerce. Now, wrap it up on our stories on Galamsey, because founding member of the NPP, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklos, called on government to deploy the military to various forest zones to tackle the Galamsey menace. He has criticized government for its supposed gradual approach in the fight against Galamsey.
Politicizing, which is very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. And that is why probably we have not been able to take drastic measures. Look, I have been a military man before. And when you have situations of this nature, those who can solve it and solve it once and for all are the military. All you have to do is to deploy them into various affected areas. The riversides and the forest. And military know what to do. They know what to do. They will make sure that no one comes even a centimeter close to the area. You follow me? And until that is done, I believe strongly in that. Others might have different opinions. But until that is done, I can assure you we are just wasting our time. But this sort of gradual approach to the problem will not, it's been tried before, it never worked. It was tried by Akufo-Addo, it never worked. Even to the extent that Frimpong Boateng wrote an extensive report on this. It sat on the desk of the president for years. Nothing was done about it because there were characters involved who was close to the president then. You follow me? I mean, where we are now, we have to be very careful. Very, very careful. The signs are there. Everybody is crying that there must be an emergency. Emergency, not emergency engulfing the whole country for these specific areas. And knowing our troops and how they do work, if they are sent there and they are given directives, they know exactly what to do. They have officers there who will tell them what to do. And I can assure you, within 6 months, we shall start seeing changes in not only in our rivers, but in the forest as well.
Let's move away from the subject of Galamsey. And there is growing concern of a likelihood that the country is losing the fight against the Mpox disease outbreak, urging a need for re-strategizing of efforts. But the Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Lesedu-Bekwe, disagrees. He explains that the global response is shifting towards managing Mpox as an endemic condition rather than a temporary outbreak, noting that the perception that Mpox is a minor illness has been a barrier to effective management and report. He spoke exclusively to TV3.
No. That is not the issue. You see, I think one of the things that we need to communicate is, if you look at, let's say, the global picture of the response, somehow I will say that it's been, it used to be called a public health emergency of international concern. Now the idea is that it must be managed as an endemic condition. So just last week we dispatched a team. We had a meeting in Addis Ababa with member states in Africa, EU, that you need to integrate the management of Mpox into your routine services. So it is a situation that it has come that you need to see how best you can manage it. So it is not just about saying you've lost. No, that is not the issue. The issue is that it has two approaches to it. Because the perception that it's just a rash, people are reluctant to just report. And as I said, because it was not causing any mortalities, particularly if you look at the Ghana situation, we are getting almost like 600 cases and 2 mortalities. So people think that it's just a rash. So we still using this opportunity to tell people that it's a rash. But if you are not lucky and you have an underlying medical condition, you may die. But one thing that I think which is good is that prior to just a week ago, we were sending samples to either Kumasi or Accra. Now we had some support from WHO, so now we're able to test the samples in even Takoradi and even other areas by using the cartridges. So now the ease of confirmation has improved.
Now, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, is in the Ashanti region to inspect some market projects that have stalled for many years. She will also visit the Santehene Otumfuose II. Our Vice President, Presidential Correspondent, Evelyn Tingma, joins us now with a bit more from the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi. Evelyn, good afternoon. What can you report on the whereabouts of the Vice President?
Right, so Kemini, the Vice President is yet to come to the Ashanti region, and she will be joining us here in the Ashanti region shortly, and she's expected to visit 3 markets here in Kumasi. And so we are talking about the Mamponting market, where we are currently standing, and she will also visit the Swame post office market, which was gutted by fire some few weeks ago, that's in August. And then she will also be visiting the Pro-Food market, which has also been abandoned in Kemini. So currently we are at the Mamponting market. This is where she will be coming to first. And this is the state of the market that was started some years ago. Of course, this market has been abandoned for like 12 good years. And it was started by the previous NDC government in 2012. And in 2013, the project was abandoned. And so this current government in recent times, or in the 2024 budget, decided, in the 2024 campaign, decided to reconstruct this particular market. And so that is the situation here. We are currently at the Mamponting market project, where the Vice President is supposed to attend the program here.
Evelyn, how many of these market projects will she be inspecting?
She will be inspecting 3 of them. So this Mamponting one, and then Krofrom, and then Swame post office market. That was gutted by fire. That was in August this year. And so she will be expecting these 3 markets here. So the Mamponting one, I'm saying that it has been abandoned for 12 years.
Right.
And during the campaigning season, the Vice President was in the Ashanti region, and she promised that this particular market and the others will be reconstructed to serve the people better. So currently, as we speak, the traders are selling on the streets, and we have others who were also relocated, but according to them, and their livelihoods are being affected because they are not able to sell the way they are supposed to do. So that is where we are now, Kemini.
Very well. We'll keep an eye on that story as developments emerge. We'll return to you. Evelyn Tingma is our Vice Presidential Correspondent, looking out as the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, visits some market projects in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi.
Away from that, now Imani, Africa, and the coalition of oversight institutions are demanding a forensic audit into Ghana's Gold for Oil program, alleging a review has pointed to revenue leakages and incentives for smuggling. Selected trading companies have also been identified for having opaque ownership, posing launder risks. The previous government introduced a policy last year to deal with exchange rate fluctuations and stabilize fuel prices in the country. Let's take a closer look at the concerns as have been raised by Imani Africa for you this afternoon. And key amongst them, the revelations center on governance breakdown in the gold butter. What Imani and these coalition of oversight institutions have found out following their review is that there was no foundational contract between the Bank of Ghana and the Precious Minerals Marketing Company, PMMC, allowing discretionary foreign exchange practices, weak pricing controls, and incentives for smuggling. There's a bit more. Now, they find some more in terms of revenue leakages in fuel imports as well. And this is what they found out, that Ghana is exposed to an estimated 7.2 billion cedis in fiscal losses due to missing documentation and check exemptions and BOS's dominant role. And that's the bulk oil transportation. Now they changed their name to BOS. And then high-risk international suppliers as well. Selected trading companies were flagged for opaque ownership, sanction-sensitive flows, and money laundering risks. What are they recommending? That the current administration commissions a comprehensive forensic audit, that there should be the initiation of clawbacks and prosecutions, and then the enforcement of transparency and reform. Let's move away from this now, because it is a basic human right, yet millions the world over do not enjoy this necessity. According to the United Nations Habitat, out of every 8 persons today, at least 3 do not have access to adequate housing, and out of every 4 persons, at least 1 is living in an informal settlement or slum. In this report, Portia Gabo looks at homelessness and how innovative housing solutions could be key to addressing the global housing crisis.
According to UN Habitat, adequate housing is more than shelter. It is the foundation for human dignity, health, safety, and opportunity. Yet today, 2.8 billion people experience some form of housing inadequacy. 1.1 billion live in informal settlements and slums, and more than 300 million are homeless.
We can't build a livable world if people don't have a place to live. Housing is a human right. It is a public good, and it is crucial to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals.
At 1 a.m., female head porters, popularly referred to as kayayi, have made the street of Tema Station their home because they lack accommodation after migrating from different parts of the country, especially the northern sector, to Accra to make ends meet.
Yeah, I'm feeling fine.
We are not okay here. It is not our wish to be out here. We are at the mercy of the weather. When it rains, we have to stand all night until it stops. We don't have accommodation here. If we had decent and affordable accommodation, we will be okay.
Here, wives, grandmothers, aunties, sisters, pregnant and nursing mothers, and even babies sleep in the open despite the risk.
Some unscrupulous people worry us here. They sexually abuse us and rob us.
During the day, this same location serves as a bus terminal. At night, the women call it home.
Those who even have a place to sleep, like they rented, very difficult because the landlord, they are facing problem with the landlord because it's a fixed price they were given to them. Every Saturday you have to pay your room, or Friday. So now, in case you go to market for the whole week and you haven't get anything, what will happen? You will be rejected by the landlord.
The homeless situation does not only affect the female porters, but cuts across different demographics.
I sell youth clothes at Katamanto. I don't have a place to sleep. That is why I sleep on the street.
Some key causes of homelessness include poverty, unemployment, and lack of affordable housing. For those who cannot pay rent, they settle for wooden structures in slum communities. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, about 4.8 million people are living in slums in the country.
57% of households are in urban areas. 46.1% of households exhibit slum conditions. 29.5% of urban households live in slum neighborhoods. 30.7% of our urban population are living in slums, compared to the global average of 24.7% and sub-Saharan African average of 53.9% over the same period.
Here, one can rent a wooden structure for as low as 50 cedis a month, but this comes without basic social amenities like water, sanitation, and toilet facilities.
Here is my kitchen. Here I cook. And here is my bath.
Affordable accommodation should be at the forefront of sustainable development. In the midst of the global housing crisis, some innovations such as the use of shipping containers reused as homes could be a potential solution.
Convert a shipping container to a regular home, insulate, have your electricity, have your plumbing pipes in. It's relatively, I would say 50% less expensive than a brick and mortar.
Beyond these innovative solutions, governments the world over must invest in truly affordable housing schemes and land trusts to help the homeless and vulnerable who cannot afford to pay rent. Indeed, affordable housing is more than just brick and mortar or a physical structure. It's about safety, dignity, and identity. Portia Gabo, TV3 News, Accra.
You're still here on News Central Live on TV3. Now, a quick reminder that the Ghana Premier League is home on TV3. Every week, TV3 will give you 3 live GPL matches, the biggest games, the fiercest rivalries, and the brightest stars brought straight to your screens with world-class coverage. But that's not all. We set the stage with our GPL preview show, giving you the inside scoop and expert analysis. And when the final whistle blows, we keep you covered with our highlights and review programs so you never miss a goal, a save, or a talking point. Now, for the fans who love to stay connected on the go, we have reels and updates on social media. This is more than just coverage. This is TV3, positioning the Ghana Premier League as premium sports product. So mark your calendars. Gather your friends, set your alarms, and join us this weekend for another unforgettable round of Ghana Premier League football on TV3. Only on TV3. We'll take a quick breather. When we return, we'll bring you that story about the presidential candidates on both the NDC and NPP side. Don't go away.
learning anymore. It has become an all-day, all-year solution for childcare. From dawn drop-offs to after-school clubs, vacation classes, and weekend programs, children barely step outside an academic schedule. But what does this unending school cycle mean for family life and childhood itself? Aisha Yakubu Khalid finds out in this report.
In the capital, Accra, and many peri-urban neighborhoods, the school bell never truly stops ringing, thanks to the busy parent schedule and increasingly close-knit nuclear families. Children now spend more time in school than at home. For some of these children, a typical weekday begins way before the cock crows and sometimes ends way past dinner time. They are dropped off for early bed care, stay for lessons, then head straight to co-curricular activities like swimming, piano lessons and others before evening pickup.
Just imagine a 2-year-old child being dropped off at 6:30 and that parent goes to work, will come back like 6 p.m. The relationship, the bonding, those hours shouldn't be taken from them. But it looks as if of late, the children are not having that bonding with most of the parents because of their work schedules. And so the parenting aspect is coming more on the schools.
For parents with busy jobs and long commutes, schools have become a lifeline, taking on roles that used to be filled by close family, especially grandparents and neighborhoods. Childcare costs, long working hours and traffic jams mean parents depend on schools to fill almost every gap.
My child spends 10 hours to 11 hours in school because sometimes we come early and then she leaves very late. Sometimes I get worried because of the workload sometimes at work. And I'm urging employers to sometimes consider us, we the young mothers, to close a little bit early.
There must be a balance, just that it's difficult. Obviously, there will be more school time than they are with you, especially if you're a parent who works on weekends. It's extremely difficult. The school actually takes much of the time, but the little we have, we are also trying to create that balance.
The schools have very much noticed the need and are introducing varied schemes to cater for the varied family needs. Most schools in Accra offer breakfast clubs, homework sessions, sports camps, and even weekend language lessons. The aim is to keep children safe, stimulated, and off the streets while parents work.
If their children normally go home, what happens is that if they don't have proper supervision at home, their homework and learning becomes a bit difficult. But here we supervise them to do their homework and also to have free environment to explore.
This is taking a toll on all parties involved. Overworked school workers and teachers, fatigued children, and financially stressed parents. But the intended beneficiaries are worryingly the biggest losers. Pupils yawning through classes, struggling to concentrate, and above all, having little family bonding and nurturing time.
We are overburdening children, and once you do that, you are taking certain things from them that will not help them. You see the change in their sleeping pattern, and that affects them a lot because there are certain periods that children are active, and there are certain periods that they are not active. You truncate that process, and you make it unstable for them. There's a need for us to have a time that we can close early so that children can go home and then also study the home environment and how they can adjust.
I foresee that the situation will get worse. I think that parents will spend less time with their children as time goes on. The child spends 16 years of his life in the educational system. So the focus of every parent, the focus of the society should now be the curriculum. If this curriculum is not designed to mold the total personality of the child, we are heading for distraction.
They say the solution lies in flexible workplaces, community childcare support, and a shift in priorities at home.
When children are learning, it takes the home and the school to be able to train the child very well. So, and you cannot deny the child any of this at any particular time. So we need to structure it in such a way that we balance it so that the home training that children are supposed to get, they get it well. And then when they come to the school and what the school can also offer them, they also get it.
In as much as we as parents are trying to make ends meet and get things done, we also need to find a balance between how we leave these children in the hands of the school and get a little time to be with them. And that is why in other places or in families where there's a little resources, you see that the entire family decides that within this period you are going on a vacation, where the father, the mother, the children get bonded more.
Childhood should be more than just a timetable. Experts say a balance of learning, play, and family connection is key to raising healthy, resilient children. But as long as urban life keeps parents pressed for time, schools may continue to double as second homes, making it an unending cycle. Aisha Yakubu Khalid, TV3 News, Accra.
Central live here on TV3. I'm Kemini Amanor. Now, government's flagship program, the Feed Ghana initiative, is gaining momentum in the Western region as educational institutions and security agencies begin to subscribe. However, these early adopters are calling for support to address implementation challenges. Irama Smith has more.
In 2024, Ghana's heavy reliance on imported food was starkly evident, the total purchases reaching approximately 38.95 billion Ghana cedis. Key contributors included cereals at 3.37 billion cedis, meat products 5.27 billion cedis, and sugar at 2.37 billion cedis. To counter this dependency and boost domestic output, government launched the Feed Ghana program through the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. The program's goal is to achieve food self-sufficiency and transform Ghana's agricultural sector, thereby reducing dependence on foreign products.
A country like Ghana, we are an agrarian country, and we can produce a lot to feed ourselves. You see, we don't have to be manufacturing computers, mobile phones, etc., etc. But God has given us this environment which supports agriculture. So I see no why we have to still import a lot of foodstuff.
In the Western region, early adopters include educational institutions and security agencies such as the Prison Services and the 2nd Infantry Battalion Mayon Barracks. These entities are now cultivating vegetables and food crops to supply their students and inmates.
Though we don't have much land at the central prison here, we are also trying to improve the diet of the inmates by planting vegetables such as contombre and then black beauty and any other leafy that we think can make their soupy very, very nutritious.
And this time we are doing pepper, maize and others, and we also feed them on this item that we get from the school farms.
To encourage broader participation, National Coordinator Bright Kwajo Dimoji is calling on individuals, corporate institutions and organizations to join the program. He has also announced that a new institutional award category will be featured at this year's National Farmers' Day.
We are saying that everybody must come on board. That is why we are not calling the Feed Ghana policy as just a policy. It's a campaign to reduce your purchase of vegetables in the market. All the institutions are involved, secondary schools, even at the basic level. That's why this year we are saying that the Farmers' Day is not going to be for only farmers alone. It's going to be for even institutions are going to be awarded based on their involvement in the operations or operationalization of the Feed Ghana program.
Nevertheless, implementing institutions are facing challenges and require government support for the initiative's successful rollout.
If the government will help us with a plow to enable us do this, plow our land and then farm, we will be very grateful. It is our challenge.
In the meantime, Municipal Chief Executive for Efiakwe-Simintim, Abdul Majid Dokurugu, has pledged his support to the educational institutions within his municipality.
I believe through this program, we can get equipment to support the school and the metropolis, to support our farming activities here. And also on the areas of catfishing, catfish rearing, and then also the poultry. Through the Nkokon Kitikiti program under the Feed Ghana project, we are going to support them as well.
Irama Smith, TV3 News, Takrady.
Let's bring you more stories right now. And if you're seeing that backdrop behind me, it seeks to suggest one thing. There's a latest poll by Global Info Analytics, which amongst many other things says that the NPP will have a torrid time, possibly beating some of the front runners in the NDC's flag bearership race, according to the latest Global Info Analytics poll. Executive Director of Global Info Analytics, Musa Dankwa, says the findings, despite raising concerns about the chances of Julius Deborah, could change with time.
It's no conclusion. It's the data. It's the polling data.
Okay.
So if you put it like that, it sounds like we have done some calculations and put some numbers out there.
Okay.
No, these are a simple count of people who said they will vote for Julius Deborah or they will vote for Mawuena if that is the race they have. And what we have given you is exactly what they told us. If you look at the data we have published today, with the exception of Julius Deborah, all the other NDC candidates, the four or the other three, are defeating MPPs or they are leading MPP candidates, both Mawuena and Canada Japan. And that's what we have right now. We don't know how these numbers will change in the future, but we'll be there to measure it if it does.
You heard Musa Dankwa speak to the numbers. Well, the latest survey published by Global Info Analytics shows the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, as the only possible NDC flag bearer candidate not preferred against the two leading NPP aspirants, Kennedy Japan and Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, when all other NDC candidates are paired with the NPP aspirants. The NDC candidates are preferred. This finding comes with more than 3 years to the next election, but raises questions about the direction the governing party may want to consider in deciding who to lead it into the 2028 elections. And we're going to take a look now at what the findings are. But you heard Musa Dankwa as well speak to the fact that a lot of this could change in the lead up to the elections as well. And so here's what it is. And we're looking at the two leading candidates in terms of the NPP's presidential primary. We're starting off with the former vice president and the flag bearer in the 2024 general election. So paired against Johnson Asiedu Nketia, Mr. Asiedu Nketia is getting 50%. Dr. Bawumia is getting 45%. Against the current chief of staff, Julius Deborah, he's getting 50%. That gets him into the Jubilee House if elections were held in today, and today were election day, and Julius Deborah is getting 46%. Against the current finance minister, Dr. Kasia Lato-Forson, Dr. Bawumia is at a 44%, Lato-Forson at 53%, and then the man who has been described as most preferred in this latest poll by Global Info Analytics, Haruna Idrisu, who is the current education minister as well, he leads with 55% as against Dr. Bawumia's 42%. The rest of the votes go to other candidates. Now let's look at Kennedy Japan, who is also in the running for that flag bearership race in the NPP, and him against Johnson Asiedu Nketia. He's getting 44% in terms of respondents, persons who spoke to Global Info Analytics or respondents in this latest survey. 44% said they will prefer him, but 51% said they will prefer Johnson Asiedu Nketia. Against Julius Deborah, he's hovering around 49%. The Honorable, the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, at 46%. And then against the incumbent or the current finance minister, we see Dr. Lato-Forson doing 54%, he's doing 42%. And then against Haruna Idrisu, he's maintained his 55% preferred rate, stays there. and then 41% for Kennedy Japan as well. And so this is what the poll by Global Info Analytics is saying, and we can bring you a bit more in terms of other stories right now.
There'll be no more stories.
Oh, I absolutely.
It's time for us to go, but that's an interesting outlook on the aspirant race.
Yeah.
It hasn't started for the NDC, but you know, the grapevines have been whispering.
Yeah.
And, you know, and on Sunday, I spoke with the Agric Minister on, you know, what I had heard.
Did he make known his intention?
Well, I can say this, that he is interested. But
everybody is interested. I mean, a question was asked of Johnson Asidun Kitia, who says, anybody who enters a political party, your ultimate goal is to lead the party.
I mean, and that makes sense, because when I asked him, you know, the grapevines are whispering that come, you know, when it's time for the NDC to go for their presidential aspirant race, his name will pop up. Well, he said, salt does not admire itself. If that's what the people are saying, then it could be the case, right?
Who doesn't want to be president?
But his focus now is the Agric Ministry. And so, I mean, I look forward to a time when his name also appears there.
His name is a part of it, but just in terms of the top runners,
absolutely,
he hasn't fallen in that line. And
yet.
These are very early days.
Very.
How well you perform at your ministry, how well the government will perform, all of that will lend credence to what this outlook will look like. And there's an understanding, a justifiable understanding as to why the Honorable Kesela Forces is there. Mm-hmm. The economy has started off on a very good footing. Immediately, there was a term Ato is forcing, and that brings him into the front burners in terms of the conversation as well.
Absolutely. And that's for me sounds like an underdog who is really coming up strong, because tell me 4 years ago, Kesela Toforsen wouldn't have been a presidential candidate material for you.
Good work done to an extent. 9 months, and already people are beginning to ask questions. If he's doing such a good job here, what will happen if we handed the seat or the keys to him? These are the sort of permutations that will begin to come up when you perform at your sector.
Absolutely, but those with the real challenge now is the NPP side, because they have an election coming up in 2026, in January of 2026.
31st of January 2026.
And you know, these numbers, if they take seriously, then it's likely that their best bet is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Even with that, based on these numbers, still doesn't look great for the party. But again, these are early days, very, very early days, and a lot could change between now and December 7, 2028.
Absolutely, and look at Kennedy putting up such strong numbers in that survey.
And so it remains to be seen what the Ghanaian voter will say on that day. But obviously, in terms of governance, that will play a long we'll have a lot to say in terms of how the perception of Ghanaian voters will be in the lead up to the elections. Indeed. But it's time for us to run out of the studio. I am Mawuena Egbeta.
And I am Kemini Amanor. We are back here same time tomorrow with a bit more. Bye-bye.